Okay, this video is going to show you how you can access eBooks through a program called Sora. You'll start by going to Class Link. Once you're in Class Link, there's a folder called Library Books. If that folder is not on your front page, you can always search for it by just start typing library, and there is that folder. The program we're going to be looking at is called Sora. And there's two different libraries available. We have one that is just general for San Antonio ISD, but you can also add books from the San Antonio Public Library. In order to do that, you will need to add that library. So you would click on the three bars here and click Add Library. You would search for San Antonio, and then you could choose this particular library and select that to also include in your choices. So let me show you the difference. San Antonio ISD is going to have fewer books available, but we purchase books every single year, so that is growing. We now have over 1,000 juvenile books. When we started, we only had just maybe a couple of hundred. So if you kind of scroll down, you can look at different things, and there's a bunch of popular subjects, so you can kind of look at that and click on any of those and pull up those to find a book to read. The other option is to look at the San Antonio Public Library. Now, these are going to have far more collections because these are going to have things like cooking and specific authors, um, just different things that you might look at. So there's going to be a lot more options available. And there's also a lot of audiobooks available through the San Antonio Public Library. Just to show you a quick difference between the two libraries, if I can scroll, get to the bottom of the screen here. In the first one, we had about 1,000 juvenile fiction, and this one has about 10,000. So there's quite a few more books that you can access through this particular catalog. For now, I'm going to go back up to home, and I'm going to go back to our San Antonio library. So if you want to search for a book, you can always search and say, I wanted The Hunger Games. Okay. If there's one available, you can click on it and click borrow. If there isn't one, if there's something else, if it's not available, you would have the ability to add it to a list or add it to your wish list. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this book, and you can click on it and just read a summary to see if you want it. If you are wanting to read it and you click borrow, it is going to now be added to your shelf, and you would have it for a period of time for you to read it, but you can always return it if you know you start reading it and it's just not your book. There's some options for reading that you can do. You can have it as a double page or just a single page. You can change the font. If somebody is dyslexic, they can change that to an open dyslexic font to help out with that. You can search within the book itself. So if you want to search for certain words, and then you can also bookmark and highlight when you are reading that book. So keep clicking. I find it easier to read this way. So you just keep clicking. You can go to a specific chapter, and then this is what it looks like when you are reading. Um, if you want to close that book, just click up here at the X. And once you are out, let me kind of go back out here. You can always go to your loans right here, I think. Maybe you have to go to your, there you go. You can see what you have. For example, you can click on your shelf, and if this is a book that you did not want to read, you started reading it, it's not your thing, you can always go to options and return. You can also renew it if you need a little more time, and I think that's dependent on if somebody else has requested that book, but you can go ahead and renew that book or return it as needed. If you don't renew it or you don't ever return it, it will automatically go off your shelf after 2 weeks. So this is one option for reading, the ability to read ebooks. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I hope you enjoy reading.